Hi there, Martin from Martin Cohn Recordings and Electronics, MCRE, and today in this very short video we're going to actually explain a little bit about how capacitors work. Now there's obviously different types of capacitors, but all capacitors are based on the same concept, which is that they store charge and they will allow an alternating current to pass through, but they will block a DC or direct current. Now, if we imagine two pieces of paper rolled up together, and those pieces of paper are interleaved, where you've got one is a terminal from one polarity, the positive side of the capacitor, and another is the polarity plate from the negative side of the capacitor, and you've got some form of dielectric, some form of insulating material between those two sheets of paper, and those sheets of paper will be typically rolled up into a can. So we have, for example, an electrolytic capacitor, very common kind of capacitor, typically used in audio equipment circuits and also in switching mode power supplies, for that matter linear power supplies as well. Now, capacitors do range, of course, from fairly generic base quality to extremely high quality. And apart from the typical quality differences in terms of the way they're manufactured, the way they last over time, there is also a concept called ESR, or electrical series resistance. And we want that series resistance to be very low, because as the series resistance either goes to infinity or gets higher and higher, the effect of that capacitor will actually reduce. Now, if we were to take, for example, a 100 microfarad capacitor, that when it's got a very high ESR will actually maybe report, instead of 100 microfarads, it might come back as 20 or 10 microfarads, or even sometimes virtually nothing and open circuit. And over time, particularly when exposed to temperature fluctuations, capacitance will eventually change. The characteristics of the dielectrics will break down or change over time, chemically change as well. There are paper capacitors which have paper quite literally as the insulating material. And in one of my Revox B77 decks, I turned it on one day and there was a bit of an explosion, and what had actually happened was the paper capacitors had shorted, where the paper dielectric or insulation had actually broken down over time and caused this shortage in that circuit. So that is essentially a very brief introduction to capacitors. I will be talking about that in much more detail in coming videos. Send us your comments, questions. We look forward to helping you in any way we can. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Cheers.